Good evening to you, listeners. We are so sorry we had some technical issue here and we're delayed to start. But I am starting a conversation between myself and Honorable Sarah Kiyingi. And Honorable Sarah Kiyingi is a former Minister of State for Internal Affairs who served between 1999, Honorable Sarah?
Yeah.
When you please unmute your microphone on Twitter also, Honorable Sarah.
Okay.
I was seeking clarification. Was it between 1999 to 2004?
Yes, please.
Okay, we will need you to speak louder, at least on so that we hear you. But yes, viewers, I was introducing my guest for tonight. Honorable Sarah Kiyingi is the former Minister of State for Internal Affairs. She served in cabinet between 1999 and 2004. Honorable Sarah Kiyingi is one of the 4 ministers that fell out with President Museveni over the removal of term limits from the Constitution. The others being Honorable Miriam Matembe, Honorable the late Elia Kategaya, and Honorable Bidant Sari. Honorable Sarah Kiyingi then was the MP, the woman MP for the Antonde district. And she is now was it Rakai or the Antonde? Was it the Antonde district then? Honorable Sarah,
no, it was Rakai district.
It was Rakai district.
Yes, please.
Okay, so let me welcome you to say hello to our viewers, and then we get into the discussion. After that, you can unmute on the Twitter Spaces.
Hello, viewers. We are pleased to have you with us in this conversation. Thank you for tuning in.
You had gone off, Honorable Sarah, we didn't get you, but also if you could speak a little more louder than that. I don't know if it's the device you're using.
Hello?
Unfortunately, the Twitter space doesn't seem to be doing well. We can't get Honorable Sarah properly. So we are going to continue with this conversation on the other platforms that we're using, that is YouTube and Facebook. Unfortunately, on here, yes. Honorable, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you clearly.
I am so sorry the Twitter space hasn't worked well. I couldn't hear a thing on it. I don't know why. But let's continue for these other viewers. We can probably try the Twitter space again in the course of the conversation, or just leave it all together thankfully, this is going to be where people can reach it any day. So, Honorable Sarah, I was saying that you should say hello to the viewers.
I've already said hello to the viewers, but I can say it again. We welcome them. And I'm delighted to be in this conversation with you and with the rest of our viewers. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable. I would like to start by taking the viewers through, considering how long you have been away from the public eye. I can imagine so many people are hearing about you or seeing you for the first time now, especially those my age and younger who are not as active in what was going on then. If you could just briefly take us through your journey, especially in politics and your service in the government of the movement then, yes.
Okay. First of all, my journey did not begin in politics, so let me just go back a little more. And my name is Sarah Kiyingi Kyama. I'm married with 5 children and 4 grandchildren. I studied my primary school. I went to a school in Lyantonde, which is the district now. It was called Kalagala Primary School. Then I went to Uganda Primary School, finished my P7. Then I went to St. Catherine Secondary School in Lira, which was originally it was Dr. Bote's College, and then it was changed to Boroboro Secondary School, and then the girls section was changed to St. Catherine Secondary School. And then for HSC, I went to Fort Portal, Chevambe Girls School. And then I went to university. I did a BA in Religious Studies and Sociology. And then I went to University of Nairobi and I did a master's in Religious Studies. Then I came back and worked, after my first degree, I worked as teaching assistant in the Department of Religious Studies. And then I went for the master's. And when I did, after the master's, I went to work as a mission. I went to work with the mission board of the Netherlands Reformed Church in the Netherlands. And then I returned. That was a 4-year contract. And then I returned. And in 1994, that's when I returned, got back. And then that was the time, around that time was the, constitutional consultations and so on. And then the constitution was made. And then 1996, I stood for elections and I was elected as a member of parliament for Rakai district. And I served there for 2 terms in that parliament. I served in the 6th parliament, which was 1996 to 2001. And then the 7th parliament, 2001 to 2006. And then out of my experience in parliament, after being there, I did not stand again in 2006, but out of what I had, experienced and interacting with other members of parliament and the public, I decided that I was going to do a course in counseling, which I felt was going to be useful for me and to those that I would be interacting with. So I went to Bible College, which was, KEST, Kampala Evangelical School of Theology. And I did a counseling course. Then after that, I did a Bible study course in Caris Bible College. This is a Bible college which is under Andrew Womack Ministries. And in 2014, I authored a book, How to Live a Stress-Free Life in Parliament. And it has been the second edition. I reviewed it, and I wrote the second edition in 2021. This is the book. I don't know whether it will be visible anyway, but it is for parliamentarians. But I wrote it out of the experience that I got in Parliament. I'm a member of Alliance for National Transformation, of course. I'm a member of the interim committee of the party. And for members that are new on this platform, the motto of Alliance for National Transformation is people first and a new future. Yeah, is that good? That's the introduction that I.
Yes, the introduction was good and elaborate. I just wanted some clarification on the book. Is it How to Live a Stress-Free Life in Parliament or After Parliament?
The book. This was written for parliamentarians, and the first the reason I wrote this book is that after I left Parliament, which I enjoyed very much, I wasn't stressed, but when I would meet the members of Parliament, because when I was in Parliament, when I left Parliament, I remained as a member of the cooperative executive committee of the cooperative parliamentary cooperative. Parliamentary cooperative. And then, of course, I was in interaction with members of Parliament, and you would hear people saying we are stressed and all this, and I could not understand. So I thought, well, let me share tips. In fact, it's called 50 tips. 50 tips on how to live a stress-free life in Parliament. I was just drawing from my experience and how I had gone through Parliament, and I felt that people need to, maybe people just didn't know how you can, organize your life and live a stress-free life in Parliament. So it's really for parliamentarians, but also for other leaders, political leaders in their areas of service.
Okay, thank you very much. I would like you to also take us through your experience serving in President Museveni's government, and yes, why you chose to leave that government when we got political parties and later decided to be a member of the Alliance for National Transformation instead.
Okay, as maybe before I go to that, I will say that I joined politics, of course, in 1996, as I said, and I served after 2 years. Then I was appointed as a Minister of State for Internal Affairs. And so when I was in Parliament, yeah, of course, we were a very active people, and we had younger parliamentarians and so on. Then some of us were appointed, and I must say it was an honor to serve as a Minister of State for Internal Affairs. And then we got to, of course, thereafter we were asked, a time came where there was that attempt to, the question, should we extend the NRM or the President Museveni's service, because his term was ending? Should we, he says he's not serving, so I shouldn't call it service, his presidency, to be a president of this country, because his period of service of 10 years had ended in 2001. And so, of course, there was all the processes that we went through, you know, the people were asked, you know, to go into their constituencies and inquire and all that kind of thing. And for some of us, we just felt like this is not a good thing to change the constitution and remove the term limits. And yeah, for me, I felt strongly that we should not remove the term limits because we would be setting a precedent where the constitution would be tampered with at will, and where, you know, we would not have that legacy. At least at that time, only Tanzania was in the neighborhood, or in East Africa. Tanzania was the only example at that time where there was where presidents were handing over peacefully from one to another, and so on. And some of us felt like we should go the same way. And yeah, those of us who did not support it, you know, we were dropped. Yeah, that was it.
Thank you, Honorable Sarah, for that explanation about what happened then. I would like to know your views now, having left over the removal of term limits, or because you disagreed with it. And now, how many years later? Are they 18? 18 years later, and we're still dealing with the same issue. What are your views about this presidency that seems to last eternity? And how do we deal with it?
Well, for me, my view is still the same. This was a very, very big mistake. And for me, one of the reasons that I felt we should not remove term limits is, first of all, we needed to start that legacy where people hand over power from one president to another. And I personally just believed, even at that time, which I think has been proved right, that President Museveni had come to power. He had served his purpose, and his purpose was that, in my view, that he would lead the country, because he's a charismatic person. He's very convincing, very knowledgeable. He came in at a time where structures had been, you know, dismantled, and we needed somebody who was confident in even him as an individual, who was confident to lead the nation. And he led us to the point of writing the constitution, organizing the army, and so on. And so he needed to leave so that we could have somebody who would actually respect institutions. President Museveni is not somebody who respects institutions. And for me, even at that time, I likened that situation to a situation when we were building our house. We got somebody, you know, we contracted someone, and he came, you know, laid the foundation and so on, built the walls. And when we got to roofing, he said, you know, you need to get somebody else to do your roof. And I said, but why do you want us to get someone else? We hired you. He said, I don't know how to roof. And for me, when this whole amendment came, it reminded me of that incident. Just like that builder, President Museveni was very good at building, you know, laying the foundation for constitutionalism, but he was not the person to be in power, because he was not someone who respected institutions that had been put in place. And so sadly, that has been proved right. Right now, where we are, we don't have those institutions are there, but they're not working. The constitution is there, but it's not. We are living in a situation where only the president's word matters.
Yeah. Also, Honorable Sarah, when I interviewed you 2 years ago, the interview ran in Daily Monitor, you had been sort of out of politics for about 15 years. I would like to know what attracted you to the Alliance for National Transformation eventually, and what the party is doing to change our fears now about what you're talking about, the presidency that doesn't seem to end, and all the problems that are coming with that. And now we have an issue of succession also coming up. So, so one of the questions that I would like you to answer for us first is what made you decide to get back into politics when you joined the Alliance for National Transformation, and what you as a party are doing to ensure that Uganda gets probably a peaceful transition, what role you're playing as ANT. Yes.
Okay, thank you. As you have said, I had decided, I had made a decision. I said, well, I served my 10 years and I really don't think I want to go back into politics. But of course, I was paying attention to what was going on. And then one day, I was talking with someone who was in politics, and he made a statement that that made me rethink my position. He said, if you good people, at least he felt I was good, if you good people leave politics, how do you expect this country to change? How do you expect this country to change for the better? And he really gave me food for thought. He made me think again. And he also reminded me of this statement that all it takes for evil to flourish is for good people to do nothing. And so I thought to myself, well, let me just look and see what contribution I can make, and so that I don't have to keep saying, let other people do it, because if everybody said, let other people do it, then we cannot move forward. And so I decided that I was going to join Alliance for National Transformation, because it is the party that even at, when I looked at all the parties that were in place, I just felt that Alliance for National Transformation is the party that carries the values that I espouse. And so I joined the party, because the motto of Alliance is also one that emphasizes the future. And what we are doing now is to build the party from the ground, to start setting in place structures so that, to lay a foundation, so that when the time comes, and God knows the time will come when there will be no President Museveni. And as far as I see, without President Museveni, there will be no NRM. And so I think those of us who are positioning ourselves, or political groups or political parties that will be in a position that will have laid a foundation, will be the right party for people to join and to support and to is the only way to guarantee a better future different from this one. So that's why I decided to join Alliance for National Transformation.
There's the second part of that question, Honorable.
Pardon?
There's a second part of that question, which was saying, what is the Alliance for National Transformation doing in as far as preparing for this transition, a peaceful transition, or even taking power is concerned?
Okay, as far as we are concerned, we are building, as I said, we are building the party from the ground, from the grassroots, and we are creating awareness, helping people understand that we have to concentrate on having a political party, or political parties need to be parties that have values, and our values include integrity. We cannot go on with corruption where people are saying one thing, they do another thing, the money, there is no accountability and all those godliness. You know, we have people, we want to have people who have a respect or a fear or a decision that they are going to walk by with to walk in with godly values. You know, integrity is one of them, and you know, hard work. I think it's very important for people in this nation to know that, you know, you don't just, you know, when you look around, the NRM has sort of led people to think that money is just thrown around. You know, other people should give you money, never mind where they get the money from. They give you money. When it's finished, you go, you do whatever thing you want to do, and they'll give you more money, or, you know, that kind of thing. A nation cannot develop where people do not respect work. Money, you know, the Bible says that God blesses the works of our hands. If we are not working, we are not going to get money. And even when we get it, still the Bible says that money earned hastily is, you know, doesn't lead to prosperity. But here we are telling people there is prosperity for all just by handing them peanuts, handing them money. I don't think any nation has ever, even when we look at all these other countries, no nation has ever developed by people sitting there and begging and saying, give us money. I think people need to understand that they have to work, and they have to work hard. The other value is discipline. I think people need to understand that they need to be, if people are not disciplined, they can't work, and they can't save money because they're not disciplined. They can't be accountable because they are not disciplined. So all those values are values within the ANT. And for me, I think as we go and meet people and lay strategies, set in place policies, codes of conduct, and so on, we will be able to help people understand, but also be able to put it in place for our party first, and then for the nation when that time comes.
Okay, thank you, Honorable Sarah. You said that someone told you, if you good people leave politics, who do you leave it for? But it seems we have now a population which is more attracted to, what should I call it, polarizing politics, of people who go out and fight and protest. And how does now the ANT It's led by a calm person, and it has attracted really very calm people. How does it fit in this situation where we have other people that are more attracted to to waves, like how we see in 2021 elections, to the politics that is not actually what is practiced in ANT? How do we attract?
We will have to create awareness. I think there are so many people out there who are not interested in violence, who are not interested in bribing people, who are not interested in doing all this evil that we see around us. And they seem to be stuck. They are saying, what do we do? And they sadly is that the church has the church seems to be or people who espouse the values that ANT espouses seem to have given up. And as ANT, we want to help people understand that this is possible if we all get together and create a critical mass that will be committed to these values of discipline, integrity, of accountability, and all these values that ANT espouses. And they are willing to go all the way and do those things. We cannot go on like this because it is endless. If people, and for me, that's why I think people within religious institutions, be they Muslim, be they Christians, they should join politics. I think it's important that people join politics, because as long as we are not there, the bad people are going to do what they know best. They are going to continue doing these things, and generations of people are going to come and they won't know anything else. And you hear many people who say, politics is a bad game. Politics is dirty. How? Who makes politics dirty? It's the dirty people that go there because the good people don't want to go there. And so for me, I think we as ANT, we are committed to creating awareness, even within our limitations, but we are committed to creating awareness within society that this is possible. And people who believe in these values have to come up and be involved in politics. Not everybody has to stand on the podium to speak. Not everybody has to go and demonstrate. Not everybody has to really stand out there. But I think we need to be involved at whatever level we are, to take interest what is going on, because politics affects everybody. You cannot say that you can live in a vacuum without politics. We will look at what is going on. You get a person who is in leadership, and they get money, and they do all sorts of things with the money, but this is taxpayers' money. This is taxpayers' money. And if the taxpayers, or if you are a person with a business and you are required to give these taxes, because we know, the Bible encourages us to pay taxes. So we pay these taxes, and then they are spent the way they are spent. And then the social services are not taken care of. You go to hospital, there is no medicine. You go here, there is nothing for you as an individual. How long do you go on? That's why you find that people resign, they throw their arms in the air, and they say, this is what society is. So they are believers, they know this is wrong, so they go bribing because they think, this is what society is. I think we've got there because as people who believe in integrity and good in society, we have not taken, we have given up. We have not gone there. So we can't have a critical mass in the political environment, so we don't make the difference that we ought to make in our society. So I want to call upon all believers to take interest in what is going on. Take interest and then say, where do I participate? How can I participate? How can I support whatever is going on that is going to make a difference? Because the few of us who are there, we cannot make that difference or fast enough to change this nation.
Yeah. Okay. You touched two things I wanted to ask you about. One about money. You said the NRM has made people believe they can collect money, and we've seen that especially in the recent past, with people counting lots of money because they are mobilizing for President Museveni or whatever that is, but also about people joining to make a difference. How can the ANT attract enough people to make a difference, but also attract resources to run activities that are required to ensure that difference?
Well, we just have to continue talking and creating that awareness, but also to help, even in that awareness, we need to help people understand that they have to change their way of thinking. You cannot be in a party and expect the party to keep giving you. We have to get to a point where we ask ourselves, what is it that I'm giving into this party? What is it that I'm bringing into this party? You know, because right now we are working. For instance, we are writing policies. We come together and get experts. Some are volunteers. We work with a lot of people who are volunteering, both young and old professors who are volunteering to draft policies, to do, whatever needs to be done. Experts in certain areas that give their time to do what needs to be done to create those policies, to write documents, and to speak to our young people, to organize conferences, and so on and so forth. So that way, we are able to go a distance. We would rather go further than we are now, but we are able to go some distance creating that awareness. But the biggest awareness that we need to create is to help people change their minds from looking at the party as what needs to contribute to them, and then they change to knowing what they can contribute to the party, because as they contribute to our party, they are contributing to the change that we want. So we are inviting all well-intentioned Ugandans who want to see a transformation of this society to join Alliance for National Transformation, because we know we cannot do it alone. We need that critical mass. We need people to come in, whether with the resources. There are people who may say, I don't have time to come to this whatever, but I agree with your line. And this may not be tomorrow that we are, here we are, because most people, the other thing is, people think that changing the nation is merely, wait for the next election and we shall be there. Not necessarily. We are building the future of this nation. So people have to know that we are in this for the long haul. We are not in this for what do I get tomorrow? Because we've got where we are in this mess because of people who are in the seventh parliament that knew that removing these term limits was a wrong thing, but because of their personal gain, quick personal gain, they said, I'm not voting against this Chisanja because, and they would just give you their personal reasons. So that's what we want to change. People should come, join us because they believe in a change in this nation, a change that really is meaningful for this nation and for our children's children.
Thank you, Honorable. I would like to ask your view about the politics that are prevailing now. For example, the Mhozi factor, where he insists he will stand for presidency, but also what they call intolerance now, the fights with the opposition and NRM people. I think the most recent one was at the burial of Mzee Naduli's son the other day. Where do you see that going, and what exactly is causing it?
Well, first of all, I want to convey my sympathies and condolences to the family of the late Jakana, Mzee Naduli. Our sympathies are with you, and we pray that God will help them get over this shock of the senseless death of their son. We will never know what the cause is, but thank God that he knows that, whatever the cause of his death. But for me, I really hesitate to say that this is politics, because politics is not thuggery. There is a difference between thuggery and politics. There's a difference. And I was looking at this man, I think he was Majambere, or what is his name, who was being, who was on TV, or was it TV or this social media, and he's saying, threatening to kill the president of NU, Honorable Chagulanyi, threatening to kill him. And he's on social media, and it's like, because as far as he's concerned, he's a law unto himself. Sincerely, for me, I'm hesitant to call that politics. That is thuggery. That is where people have been given the impression that as long as they are doing, these are people like that honorable numbers are called the useful idiots. They are there as long as they are doing the dirty work for somebody. The people who are supposed to be enforcing the law, they are scared. They don't want to touch them because they think, these are serving someone. Sincerely, that is a dangerous recipe, because such people at some point are going to be uncontrollable even by their current masters. But that is because they've been allowed to be the law unto themselves. And everybody who does, as long as they have the power, as long as they are connected, they do what they do, and everybody is thinking, that is okay. But at some point, there is going to be, if we don't do something about this, it's going to be uncontrollable, even by those who are benefiting from it right now. For me, that is what I see as the danger that we've gone into as a nation.
I think once again, for emphasis, I'd like to ask you on how do we get out of the situation we are in as a nation?
Well, that's what we are doing. You know, this is like when you can build. It's like when you have a house, and we've seen it. Somebody builds a house, it takes long, but to destroy this house takes a very short time. But rebuilding is not a one-day thing, even whether it's a kasisira or whatever. Breaking down something takes longer than building it up. And this is the sad thing about President Museveni's rule of 35 years. Because we all thought we were going forward. We got to a point and then started moving backwards. We are now breaking down even the little that was built, and rebuilding is the more difficult thing. And for us as Alliance for National Transformation, that's what we are doing. We know that at some point, President Museveni will leave. Whether it will be in my lifetime or not, or any of us in our lifetime, a time will come when he will leave. By whichever way, he will leave. But because President Museveni has now become the NRM, when he leaves, the NRM will leave. And so for those of us who are looking at the future and not merely the present, we are building systems. We are trying to build what is breaking down, what is breaking. So that is the only way. And we are asking Ugandans, all Ugandans who feel like this is a hopeless situation. It is not. We don't want to lose hope, because this nation, we found it, we will leave it here, but we want to do our part. And for me, I'm asking all well-meaning Ugandans, especially believers, and you know what I mean, believers should join us in ANT, and let's build these structures. Bring all your, don't sit there and say, but you know, this leader is this, that leader is that. Okay, we all have weaknesses. Nobody is perfect. What are you doing to help this nation get out of this mess? Because whether you're a business person, whether you are a preacher, whether you are whatever you are affected by this situation. There is something that is not working in your business, in your whatever you are doing, as a result of this mess we are in. So, other than complaining, other than sitting and throwing your arms in the air, I've met people who say, but you see that ANT, temulina muliro. Muliro for what? Why do we have to have muliro? What do we do? Muliro, after all, muliro, you know, fire burns. It's good, it cooks, but it also burns. So we want to ask all well-meaning Ugandans to join us, and we build this party. Even when they are breaking, we can start building, because we are preparing and looking to the future of this nation. Not these things are going on, but they will come to an end, The Bible keeps saying so many things. I mean, in the Bible you'll hear, and it came to pass. These too will pass, but we need to be prepared and to start moving and looking to the future of this nation.
So maybe they are saying the muliro you have at ANT is not enough to cook. Is there a way of regulating the muliro enough for cooking?
Whoever is saying that, we are inviting them to bring more firewood so that the fire is stronger. We don't want people who sit there. We we appreciate criticism, but when you are criticizing, also make a contribution. Make a contribution. Register with the organization. You don't have to be on the street when people are on the street. You don't have to go to wherever, to Kisoro, wherever. But there are people who are ready to go where you are not willing to go if you support them. But you can't support them by just saying, oh, these people don't have muliro. Bring the firewood. There are people who are willing to cook. Just give us the firewood.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perhaps my last question will be about women and the youth. How can ANT attract women and the youth into this politics? You've seen the current problem we have with the youth is the issue of them running off to UAE where they are enslaved, literally. How can the youth stay and participate in these decisions in the building that you're talking about without having the need to run away and look for survival elsewhere? So 2 questions in one still: women and how the alliance is looking at attracting them into the fold, but also the problem of youth that we have as a country.
I'm glad to say that Alliance for National Transformation has a vibrant youth body. I'm glad to say that we also have a vibrant women's league, and they are doing just like the rest of the nation. I mean, the rest of the party, they are working on those aspects of the youth and women that need to be worked on so that they are prepared. One of the things that is being focused on in the youth league and the women's league is mentoring young people. It's very important because there are so many. You know, when I was minister, there were people who basically were bringing themselves up, their parents. That was the period where there was HIV/AIDS. Their parents had died. The children were left in homes at, the oldest is probably 16. Some of them, especially in Rakai at that time, some of them had to really steal just for survival. And even those who did not steal had to, they just had to make do with whatever there was. No guidance, nothing. And those are now adults who are having children and they don't know how to bring them up because they brought themselves up. And so they are leaving their children to bring themselves up. Some of them have made money, but even with their money, their language is so foul, they are not passing on anything good. And so as we look into these sections of people, we need to concentrate on helping young people understand the importance of discipline, the importance of respecting others, the importance of, the importance of doing all these things that we grew up knowing as the values in society. You hear a young person standing and abusing an adult, and you are thinking, what? The other day, I mean, sometime back, I met, I found a certain community, they were beating, they had laid this young man down and they were, caning him. And we stopped and asked, what has this young man done? And they said, Chavumye mama wacho, emanya chakubye mama wacho. This, translation, he had beaten his mother. That was the community saying, you are not allowed to beat your mother. But the other day we found, of course, I'm not saying that thugs should steal from us, but when you see people undressing women, undressing, these are some of the things which you see and you say, sincerely, our society is at a wrong place. These women are thugs, but you undress a woman in public, and for me, I just could not understand. I was angered by these thugs who are going around in cars killing, stealing and probably killing people as they carried them in cars, in taxis. But sincerely, just the sight of seeing a woman being undressed, it is dangerous. You know that people have not been brought up in any way that is going to be sustainable or that is going to help this country grow into a sensible society. But of course, you look at it also in relation to what is going on. People are bundled off in what do they call them? Drones, and when, it's the same as or similar to what the thugs are doing. So I think we need, at least in our party, we are looking at mentoring and helping young people grow up valuing themselves and valuing others, respecting themselves, but also respecting others, so that, when they sit down, even when they don't agree, they don't have to fight, they don't have to abuse each other. They can sit down and discuss matters and agree to disagree in a good way. Those are all things we are focusing on. Yeah.
Thank you, Honorable. You talked of firewood, that people should bring more firewood to add into the fire. Yeah. Would you like to make, as we conclude, another, maybe emphasize that rallying call for resources in terms of both human and financial to the ANT?
Yeah, we would want to invite people, well-meaning people. We are not interested in people who are out to quarrel, people who are out to cause us, disagreements with other. We realize that there will always be, when in a whole nation, people can't agree on everything. There are those who have chosen to bring about what they believe they are going to bring about change in a different way. And we are not out to quarrel with anybody, but we want to invite Ugandans, well-meaning Ugandans, who believe in the values of integrity, who believe in godliness, who believe in gender equality, who believe in solving conflicts in an amicable way, who believe in all these values, accountability that we've talked about, to come and join Alliance for National Transformation. And we invite you to come with a heart and spirit of even volunteering. Volunteering can be in terms of resources, but also volunteering in terms of your skills, the skills that you have. If you are an IT person, you can come and volunteer with us, to work with us to even in what we are doing right here. I don't have a clue how this whole thing is managed, but there are people who are volunteering to put us on air, on in all these spaces, because they believe in the values that Alliance for National Transformation believes in. So we ask that people join us so that we are able to grow and to share all these ideas and views and capacities, and so that we move forward as a party. Yeah. And on our spaces, what is it called? Social media. You will get details on how to join us on social media and how to join Alliance for National Transformation. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable. Any concluding remarks?
Yeah, I want to say thank you to all our listeners. I want to say thank you to our leadership, the interim committee of Alliance for National Transformation. And I want to say, let's not give up. We know the situation may not look so simple. It's not simple, but simple things are not necessarily the best, because when things are simple, people tend to think, well, we can just play around. But I want to thank our leaders. I want to thank Honorable Salaso, who is now the General Secretary of the party. I want to thank General Mugisha Muntu, the one who started the party and who is very critical in leading us as we go out to popularize the party. And I want to call upon all members of the interim committee and members of Alliance for National Transformation. Continue giving, continue participating, and we will get there. It may not be today, but we will certainly get there. We just have to be consistent in what we are doing, and we will get there. And I want to ask, especially young people, come and join Alliance for National Transformation. There is all especially young people. I mean, you have the time to be groomed and to be trained so that when you finally get into leadership, you'll be able to lead this nation in the way that it should be led. We don't have to remain poor if we've got people who are going to help us understand how to work and to set policies in place that are going to help us to be educated, to be trained in skills that are relevant to this nation in place of this UPE. And in Rusoga, people termed UPE, they said Google primary, if you I don't know how to even translate it. If you are, primary will pass you by if you are not careful. That's what is happening to many of our children in schools. But we are, as ANT, we are setting, we are writing documents and policies that are putting people first, so that people will be relevant to the times that they will be living in. So we are inviting young people to join us because they are more conversant with what is going on in their lives today. And we can work together to look in the future and see how best to build the education system, the health system, and all systems that need to be put in place when these people have gone with whatever is left in this nation. Thank you very much, Agatha.